He laughed when I asked about the basement. "Nothing there," he said. That night, while everyone slept, I heard a soft sound beneath the floor. It wasn't the house settling. It was deliberate. My dear listeners, before we step into this story, let me ask you something simple. If real-life stories and the fight for truth matter to you, please subscribe, like the video, and tell me in the comments, from which city are you listening? I read every comment, and it's incredible to see this little family growing across cities and communities. All right, settle in. Your story begins now. Let me take you back to when I thought my husband's nervousness about the basement was just an old house quirk, when I didn't realize what he was keeping hidden beneath our feet. My name is Crystal, 29 years old, light brown skin with natural hair I wore in different styles, twist-outs, braid-outs, sometimes straightened for work. I worked as a human resources coordinator at a manufacturing company in Detroit, making $62,000 a year. Decent job with benefits that I'd worked hard to get. I lived in a 3-bedroom house in the Rosedale Park neighborhood with my husband, Terrence, $2,100 mortgage every month. The house was built in 1938, solid brick, original hardwood floors, but it needed work. Old plumbing, drafty windows, a basement we never used. We'd been married for 2 years, together for 4. Had been saving to renovate the house room by room, starting with the kitchen. Terrence was 32, dark-skinned with a neat beard and waves, worked as an HVAC technician making about $58,000 a year. Strong, handy, always fixing things around the house. We met at a mutual friend's cookout in Palmer Park, started talking by the grill, exchanged numbers, went on our first date 4 days later to the apparatus room, $87.45 for dinner. Got married at a small ceremony at the inn on Ferry Street, $12,800 total for everything including the reception. When we bought the house in September 2 years ago, Terrence was clear about one thing: we wouldn't use the basement. "It's just concrete and pipes down there," he said during our first walkthrough. The realtor was showing us the main floor, living room, dining room, kitchen, all good-sized with natural light. Nothing worth going down there for. "It's unfinished, dirty, probably has mice." "Can I see it anyway?" I asked. "The stairs are steep and there's no railing. I don't want you falling. Trust me, it's not worth looking at." The realtor seemed uncomfortable but didn't push. We looked at the rest of the house. 3 bedrooms upstairs, 1 bathroom that needed updating, a small backyard. Made an offer the next day for $142,000. We moved in on October 12th, a Saturday, temperature at 54 degrees, leaves turning orange and red. Hired movers, $875 for the day, got all our furniture inside by 4:47 p.m. The house felt solid, good bones, just needed cosmetic updates. I noticed the basement that first day. It was in the kitchen, painted white like the other doors, but it had 3 different locks on it. A regular doorknob lock, a deadbolt, and a chain lock at the top. "Why does the basement door have 3 locks?" I asked Terrence while we were unpacking kitchen boxes at 6:23 p.m. "Security. This is Detroit. You want to make sure nobody can break in through the basement." "But we're on the 2nd floor of the house. How would someone get into the basement?" "Through the exterior door. There's a door that leads outside from the basement. I want to make sure it's secure up here too." Made sense, I guess. Detroit had its rough areas, and being cautious about security was reasonable. But over the first few weeks in the house, I noticed Terrence going down to the basement regularly. Always when I wasn't home or was busy with something else. Always locking all 3 locks carefully when he came back up. "What are you doing down there?" I asked one evening in early November. I'd come home from work at 5:43 p.m. to find him coming up from the basement, locking the door behind him. "Just checking on things, making sure we don't have water leaking or pipes bursting. It's an old house, gotta stay on top of maintenance." "Want me to come look? I should know what's down there in case something happens." "Nah, it's gross down there. Dusty, dirty, probably spiders everywhere. No reason for you to go down." "Terrence, I'm not scared of spiders." "I'd like to see the whole house. I'm paying a mortgage on." His face changed slightly. "Maybe later. Right now it's really a mess. Let me clean it up first, then I'll show you." But he never showed me, and he kept going down there, 2-3 times a week, sometimes staying for 30 minutes or more. In December, I started hearing sounds from below. I was home alone one Tuesday afternoon, my day off, doing laundry in the kitchen at 2:34 p.m. The washing machine was running, making its usual noise when I heard something else beneath me, a thump, like something heavy being moved. I froze, laundry basket in my hands, listened. The house was quiet except for the washing machine. Then another thump, definitely from the basement. But Terrence was at work, wouldn't be home until after 6:00 p.m., and I was the only one home. Was someone in the basement? Had someone broken in through that exterior door Terrence was so worried about? I grabbed my phone, ready to call 911, put my ear against the basement door, listened carefully. I could hear something, movement, shuffling. Like someone walking around down there. Then I heard something that made my blood run cold. A voice, muffled, barely audible, but definitely a voice. Someone was speaking. I called Terrence immediately. He answered on the second ring. "Hey baby, what's up?" "There's someone in our basement. I can hear them moving around, talking." "What, are you sure?" "Yes, I'm standing at the basement door right now." "Someone is down there." Okay, don't go down there, don't open the door, I'm coming home right now." "Should I call the police?" "No, I mean, just wait for me. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Lock yourself in our bedroom, okay? Stay safe." He hung up. I stood there confused. Why didn't he want me to call the police if someone had broken in? But I did what he said. Went upstairs, locked myself in our bedroom, sat on the bed with my phone in my hand, listening. Didn't hear anything else from the basement. Terrence got home at 2:58 p.m. I heard him come in the front door, heard him go to the basement door, heard the locks clicking open, heard him go down the stairs. I crept to the top of our bedroom stairs, listened. Heard voices from below, Terrence talking to someone. Couldn't make out the words, but definitely a conversation. After about 10 minutes, Terrence came upstairs. Found me standing at the top of the stairs. "Everything's fine," he said. "Just some old pipes making noise. I tightened some fittings, should be quiet now." "Terrence," I heard voices, someone talking. That was probably the TV from next door. Sound travels weird in old houses. "We don't share a wall with next door. And I heard you just now, talking to someone in the basement." I was on the phone with my supervisor, telling him I had to leave work for a house emergency. He was lying. I could see it in his eyes, hear it in his voice. But why? "Can I see the basement now?" "If it was just pipes, I want to see what you fixed." "Not right now. It's really dirty down there. I tracked mud everywhere. Let me clean it up this weekend, then I'll give you a full tour. I promise." He kissed my forehead, went back to work. Left me standing in our house wondering what the hell was in that basement. I called my best friend Jasmine that evening. "Girl, Terrence is hiding something in the basement." "What do you mean hiding something?" She had her hair in box braids. I could hear her kids playing in the background. She worked as a dental hygienist, making $52,000, had 2 kids, lived in Southfield. "I heard someone down there, moving around, talking. He says it was pipes and the TV from next door, but I know what I heard." "Did you look for yourself?" "He won't let me. Says it's dirty, says he'll clean it first. But Jasmine, he's been saying that for 2 months. Something's wrong. Maybe he's got something embarrassing down there, like old porn or something. Then he'd just tell me that. This feels bigger, more serious." "What are you going to do?" "I don't know. I can't force my way into the basement. But I can't live in a house where I'm not allowed in part of it." Over the next week, I paid closer attention. Noticed Terrence going down to the basement every night after I went to bed. I'd pretend to be asleep, hear him get up around midnight, hear the basement door locks clicking open, hear him go downstairs. He'd stay down there for an hour sometimes, then come back to bed smelling like that basement smell, musty concrete and something else I couldn't identify. On December 19th, I confronted him at dinner. We were eating at the kitchen table at 7:15 p.m., baked chicken, mac and cheese, collard greens I'd made, $38.67 in groceries from Major. "Terrence, I need you to show me the basement. Tonight, right now after dinner." "Baby, I told you. It's been 2 months. You said you'd clean it up and show me. Either show me tonight or tell me what you're hiding." "I'm not hiding anything." "Then prove it. Open that door and let me see." He put down his fork, looked at me with an expression I couldn't read. "You really want to see?" Yes. Even if what's down there upsets you, changes things. My heart started pounding. What's down there, Terrence? I'll show you, after dinner. But Crystal, I need you to understand something first. What I'm about to show you, I did it for good reasons. To help someone, it's not what you think. You're scaring me. Don't be scared, just keep an open mind, okay? We finished dinner in silence. He cleared the plates, loaded the dishwasher, all moving slowly like he was buying time. Finally, at 8:02 p.m., he walked to the basement door. Before I open this, I need you to promise me something. Promise you'll hear me out. Let me explain everything before you react. Terrence, what is in our basement? Promise me first. Fine, I promise. He unlocked all 3 locks, opened the door, reached inside and flipped a light switch. Follow me, watch the stairs, they're steep. I followed him down wooden stairs that creaked with each step. The basement was bigger than I'd expected, maybe 900 square feet with concrete floor and exposed pipes running across the ceiling. The walls were old brick, painted white in some areas, but it wasn't empty like Terrence had said. The far corner of the basement had been turned into a living space. There was a twin bed with blankets and pillows, a small table with a lamp, a mini fridge, a microwave. Shelves with food, canned goods, boxes of crackers, bottles of water, a portable camping toilet behind a curtain, a small TV on a crate, and sitting on the bed looking terrified was a teenage girl. Black, maybe 15 or 16, wearing sweatpants and a hoodie, hair in a messy ponytail. I stopped halfway across the basement floor, my brain unable to process what I was seeing. Crystal, Terrence said gently. This is Aaliyah. She's been staying here since October. What? My voice came out as a whisper. The girl, Aaliyah, looked at Terrence, then at me, fear clear in her eyes. I know this looks bad, Terrence said, but I promise this isn't what you think. Aaliyah needed a safe place to stay. I've been helping her. You've been keeping a teenage girl in our basement for 2 months without telling me. I wanted to tell you, but I knew you'd react like this, knew you wouldn't understand. Understand what? That you have a child locked in our basement. I'm not locked in, Aaliyah said quietly. I can leave whenever I want. I'm here because it's safer than where I was. I looked at this girl, really looked at her. She didn't look abused or starved. She looked clean, fed, scared, but not in immediate danger. Someone want to explain what's going on? I asked. Terrence gestured to the bed. Can we sit? This is going to take a while to explain. We sat, Terrence and I, on 2 folding chairs, Aaliyah on the edge of the bed. The basement was chilly, maybe 60 degrees, but she had blankets and a space heater running nearby. Aaliyah is my cousin's daughter, Terrence started. My cousin Darnell, you've never met him, he lives on the west side. He's into some bad stuff. Drugs, gang activity. His girlfriend is the same way. They have 4 kids and Aaliyah is the oldest. I tried to take care of my little brothers and sister, Aaliyah said, her voice barely above a whisper. But my dad, he started looking at me different, started coming into my room at night, started touching me. My stomach dropped. Oh God. I told my mom, but she didn't believe me, said I was lying for attention, but it kept happening, got worse. In October, she couldn't finish the sentence, started crying. Terrence handed her a tissue box from the table. She called me. I'm the only family member who's not into that street life. She begged me to help her, said she was going to run away, maybe end up dead in the streets. So you brought her here, to our basement, without telling me. I didn't know what else to do. I couldn't call CPS. They'd put her in the system, and you know how that goes. Foster homes, group homes, sometimes worse than what she was running from. I couldn't take her to a shelter. She's a minor, they'd call her parents. I needed to keep her safe while I figured out a better solution. Terrence, this is illegal. You can't just hide a runaway child in your basement. I know, but what was I supposed to do? Let her go back to a house where her own father was assaulting her. I looked at Aaliyah. She was so young, so scared. If her story was true and everything in my gut said it was, she'd been living a nightmare. Why didn't you tell me? I asked Terrence. Why lie about it? Because I knew you'd want to call the authorities. Do things the legal way. But Crystal, the legal way doesn't always work. Not for black girls. Not for kids from neighborhoods like the one Aaliyah comes from. She'd fall through the cracks. So instead you're keeping her in our basement like, I stopped, because she wasn't being kept there like a prisoner. She had food, warmth, a bed. Terrence had made it as comfortable as possible under the circumstances. How long were you planning to do this? I asked. I've been trying to find her a better placement. There's a program through a church in Southfield that helps at-risk youth. They're not officially foster care, more like a safe house, but they have a waiting list. I've been on the phone with them weekly. They said maybe by January they'll have a spot. I sat there trying to process everything. My husband had been harboring a runaway teenager in our basement for 2 months, had been lying to me every day, but he'd been doing it to save her from abuse. I need to think about this, I said finally. I can't process this right now. Don't call anyone, Terrence said. Please, give me a chance to get her into that program. 1 more month, maybe 6 weeks max. If she's really in danger, we need to report it. Her father should be arrested. And he will be, Aaliyah said. Once I'm somewhere safe. But if I report now, they'll send me back while they investigate. That's how it works. I've seen it happen to friends. Girl reports abuse, gets sent right back to the house. Parents find out she told, she ends up worse. I can't go back there. I won't. She was right. I'd heard those stories too, seen them on the news. The system failing kids, especially black kids, especially poor kids. Let me sleep on it, I said. Let me think about what's best. But Terrence, you should have told me. I'm your wife. We're supposed to be partners. I know, I'm sorry. I was trying to protect both of you. Protect you from having to lie, protect her from being sent back. I went upstairs, left them in the basement, went to our bedroom and closed the door. Sat on the bed with my head in my hands trying to figure out what to do. If I called the police, they'd take Aaliyah, investigate her claims. Maybe arrest her father, maybe not. Either way, she'd go into the system or back home. Neither option seemed safe. If I didn't call, I was complicit in hiding a runaway. If something happened to her, if her father found out where she was, if this blew up in our faces, I could be charged with something, harboring a minor, kidnapping, even though that's not what this was. But looking at that girl's face, hearing her story, I couldn't be the one to send her back to hell. I didn't sleep that night. Lay in bed while Terrence stayed in the basement with Aaliyah, probably trying to reassure her that I wouldn't turn her in. Watched the clock hit midnight, then 1:00 a.m., then 2:00 a.m. At 6:30 a.m., I got up, got dressed, went downstairs. Terrence was sleeping in the chair in the basement, Aaliyah asleep in the bed. I stood at the bottom of the stairs watching them. Terrence woke up, saw me, stood up carefully so he wouldn't wake the girl. I won't call anyone, I whispered. But we're doing this my way. I want to meet with this safe house program. I want to see their facility, talk to their director. I want to make sure Aaliyah has a real plan. Thank you. I'll set up a meeting today. And you're teaching me her routine. Meal times, when she showers, what she needs. If we're doing this, we're doing it together. No more secrets. Deal. Over the next few weeks, I got to know Aaliyah. She was actually 16, birthday in July, should have been a junior in high school but had dropped out after freshman year to take care of her younger siblings. Smart kid despite limited education. Loved to draw. Terrence had bought her a sketchbook and colored pencils, $23.47 from Target. She'd fill pages with detailed drawings of flowers, birds, landscapes. I want to be an artist someday, she told me one evening when I brought her dinner. Spaghetti and meatballs, garlic bread, salad, $31.84 in groceries. Like, work for an animation company or something. Make cartoons that kids can watch. You're really talented. These drawings are beautiful. Thanks. It helps me not think about everything else. I asked her more about her situation. Her father had started abusing her when she was 14. Her mother worked night shifts as a nursing assistant, wasn't home to see what was happening. Aaliyah tried to tell other family members, but no one believed her. Tried to tell a teacher, but the teacher reported it to CPS, who interviewed the family and closed the case, saying there was no evidence. They came to the house, talked to me in front of my parents, asked if I was being hurt. What was I supposed to say with my dad standing right there? So I said no, said I'd made it up for attention. And then after they left, he beat me for telling in the first place. My heart broke for this kid. She tried to get help through the proper channels and the system had failed her. Now she was hiding in a basement because that felt safer than anywhere else. We met with the Safe House program on January 8th. It was run through a church in Southfield, New Hope Community Church, a program called Haven House. The director was a woman named Sister Patricia, Black woman in her 50s who'd worked in social services for 20 years before starting the program. We provide housing for at-risk youth ages 13 to 18, she explained as we sat in her office at 2:47 p.m. We're not officially licensed as foster care, which means less bureaucracy and oversight, but also less funding. We operate on donations and grants. Currently, we have 6 young people in the program, and we're waiting to move 2 of them into more permanent placements so we can take in 2 more. How long until Aaliyah could come here? Terrence asked. We're hoping by end of January. One of our residents turns 18 next week and is aging out, moving into her own apartment we helped her secure. That'll free up a bed. And she'll be safe here. Her father won't be able to find her. We don't share our location with family members unless the resident gives permission. We have security cameras, locked doors, staff on site 24/7. If he somehow found us and showed up, we'd call police immediately. What about school? I asked. Getting her education. We work with Detroit Public Schools' Alternative Education Program. Our residents can take classes here, work toward their high school diploma or GED. We also help with college applications or job training after graduation. It sounded legitimate, professional, safe. When can I come? Aaliyah asked. She'd been quiet during most of the meeting, letting Terrence and me ask questions. January 24th, tentatively. I'll confirm next week once our resident has officially moved out. 2 more weeks. We could do 2 more weeks. Those 2 weeks felt longer than the previous 2 months. Now that I knew about Aaliyah, I was hyper-aware of every sound from the basement, every risk we were taking. What if a neighbor heard something and called police? What if her father somehow tracked her down? What if Child Protective Services showed up at our door? But nothing happened. Aaliyah stayed quiet in the basement during the day while Terrence and I were at work. We'd set her up with a tablet with unlimited data, $329 from Best Buy, so she could watch movies and browse the internet. We brought her meals, checked on her multiple times a day, made sure she was okay. On January 24th, we drove her to Haven House. It was in a residential neighborhood, a large house that looked like any other family home. Sister Patricia met us at the door at 10:47 a.m. Welcome, Aaliyah. Come on in, let me show you around. Aaliyah looked at us nervous. You're not staying. We can't, I said gently, but we'll visit, and you can call us anytime. Thank you, she said, hugging Terrence tight, then surprising me by hugging me too. Thank you for keeping me safe. We watched her go inside. Sister Patricia closed the door. Terrence and I stood on the sidewalk for a moment. We did the right thing, he said. I hope so. Over the next few months, we stayed in touch with Aaliyah through Sister Patricia. She was doing well, enrolled in GED classes, seeing a therapist, making friends with other residents. In March, she sent us a letter thanking us again and a drawing she'd made, a portrait of Terrence and me standing together. It was beautiful. In April, 3 months after Aaliyah moved out, there was a knock on our door. 2 police officers stood there. My heart stopped. Are you Crystal and Terrence Mitchell? One officer asked. Yes, Terrence said. What's this about? We're investigating a report made by Aaliyah Williams. She's alleged that her father sexually assaulted her, and that before entering a youth program, she stayed with relatives. Your names came up. Did you have contact with Aaliyah Williams between October and January? Terrence and I looked at each other. This was it. Either we lied and potentially hurt Aaliyah's case, or we told the truth and faced potential charges ourselves. Yes, Terrence said. She stayed with us. She called me because she was being abused and had nowhere else to go. I'm her cousin. Did you report this abuse to authorities? No, she was terrified of being sent back home. I found her a placement at a safe house program instead. You understand that harboring a runaway minor is illegal. Yes, but sending her back to her abuser felt more illegal to me. The officers took our statements, asked detailed questions about the timeline, about Aaliyah's condition when she arrived, about why we made the choices we made. Took notes on everything. "Thank you for your cooperation," one officer said when they finished at 12:17 p.m. "We'll be in touch if we need anything else. For what it's worth, Aaliyah speaks very highly of you both, says you saved her life." They left. We waited for charges that never came. In June, we got news that Aaliyah's father had been arrested, charged with multiple counts of sexual assault of a minor. Her statement, combined with evidence from a medical exam she'd finally agreed to have done, and testimony from her younger siblings who confirmed things they'd witnessed, was enough. He was looking at 10 to 20 years. Aaliyah called us in July, day after her 17th birthday. "I testified at the preliminary hearing," she said. "Had to sit in the same room as him and tell the judge what he did, but I did it, and he's going to prison." "I'm so proud of you," I told her. "You're so brave." "I'm only brave because you gave me somewhere safe to get strong. Thank you." By fall, 8 months after Aaliyah left our house, life had settled into a new normal. We'd gotten through the investigation without charges. Aaliyah was thriving at Haven House, set to get her GED in December and planning to enroll in community college in January for art and design. And Terrence and I were stronger. Having gone through that crisis together, having made hard choices together, had actually brought us closer. We communicated better, trusted each other more deeply. "I'm sorry I didn't tell you from the beginning," he said one night in September while we lay in bed. "I should have trusted you to understand. I'm sorry I reacted so harshly at first. I should have known you wouldn't do something like that without good reason." In December, we attended Aaliyah's GED graduation at Haven House. She walked across the stage in a blue cap and gown, received her diploma, gave a speech about second chances and the people who believed in her. "I want to thank my cousin Terrence and his wife Crystal," she said, looking directly at us in the small audience. "They gave me a safe place when I had nowhere else to go. They risked everything to protect me. I wouldn't be standing here without them." After the ceremony, Sister Patricia pulled us aside. "I wanted you to know, Aaliyah's case has helped us advocate for changes in how CPS handles abuse reports. Her story, how she tried to get help and was failed, how she ended up in your basement because the system couldn't protect her. It's opened eyes. We're working with legislators on new protocols." "Good," I said. "Maybe it'll help the next kid who needs it." By the following spring, 1 year after Aaliyah moved out of our basement, we turned that space into something new. Cleaned it up, painted the walls, put down vinyl flooring, added real furniture and better lighting. Turned it into a game room, pool table, TV for movies, comfortable seating. We hosted Aaliyah there for her 18th birthday in July. She came with friends from Haven House. We ordered pizza and wings, $147.63 from Buddy's, had a cake from Better Made, $42.50. She sat in that basement laughing and talking with her friends, completely different from the terrified girl who'd hidden down there 2 years ago. "This looks so different," she said later, looking around. "I can barely recognize it." "That's the point," Terrence said. "New chapter, new life." She started at Wayne County Community College that September. Called us every week with updates, classes she loved, friends she'd made, how she was managing work and school. Still stayed at Haven House, though they'd transitioned her to their transitional living program for young adults. In November, she won a scholarship, $5,000 toward her education, based on an essay she wrote about survival and resilience. She sent us a copy of the essay. In it, she mentioned us by name, talked about the basement, about how we'd risked ourselves to keep her safe. "My aunt and uncle didn't have to help me," she wrote. "They could have called authorities, washed their hands of the situation, protected themselves. But they chose to protect me instead, even when it was illegal, even when it was scary. They taught me that sometimes doing the right thing means breaking the rules." Looking back now, 3 years after that December night when I first heard movement in the basement, I can see how that moment changed everything. How discovering Aaliyah hiding beneath our floor forced us to choose between what was legal and what was right. Here's what I want you to understand. Sometimes people keep secrets for good reasons. When Terrence told me the basement was empty, he was lying. But he was lying to protect someone vulnerable. That doesn't make the lie okay. He should have trusted me sooner, but it makes it understandable. If someone you love is acting strange about a space in your home, investigate. But investigate with compassion, not just suspicion. Terrence wasn't hiding drugs or a side piece or criminal activity. He was hiding a child who needed protection. And know that the legal system doesn't always work for everyone, especially not for Black children, poor children, children from neighborhoods that people write off. Sometimes the safest place for a kid isn't a group home or foster care. Sometimes it's a basement where people who care about her can keep her fed and warm until something better comes along. Aaliyah is 20 years old now. Finishing her associate degree, planning to transfer to Wayne State for a bachelor's in graphic design. Has an apartment she shares with another Haven House graduate. Has a part-time job at an art supply store. Has a life. Her father is in year 4 of his 15-year sentence. She doesn't visit him, doesn't write. Has cut off everyone from that side of the family except Terrence. Says we're the only family she needs. My husband said the basement was empty, but it wasn't. It held a scared teenage girl who needed somewhere to hide while the world figured out how to keep her safe. And keeping her secret, lying to me, breaking the law, risking everything, ended up being the most right thing he's ever done.